Coming up next on Headline Humboldt, Executive Director Mary Ann Hanson from First 5 Humboldt joins us to talk about their work, as well as challenges facing her organization as a significant source of funding, tobacco taxes, begins to decline. Also, the Eureka City Council shrugs off a staff recommendation to select Wiyot Tribe's Discomu program to develop affordable housing at 2 city-owned parking lots. Coming up now on Headline Humboldt. From the top of Humboldt Hill, this is Headline Humboldt. I'm James Falk. Thanks for joining us. There are few organizations in Humboldt County with a more important mission or with such a proven capability to engage partners from across the community and get things done as First 5 Humboldt. At least some of that organization's success can be credited to the dynamic and personable leadership of Executive Director Mary Ann Hanson. She's been at the forefront of several efforts and campaigns that over the years have sought to make kids in Humboldt County healthy, safe, well-rounded, and inspired. Full disclosure, KEET was the beneficiary of one such effort. Without First 5 and without Mary Ann Hanson's help in particular, it's likely that KEET's multi-award-winning documentary Addicts Among Us would never have been produced. She helped in many ways, primarily I think because the missions of our movie and her organization aligned in trying to highlight the impact of trauma on children and how that trauma can fester into mental health challenges and substance use in particular. This is a cycle that has been endlessly seen and documented here on the North Coast. She's here today to talk about all the work she and First 5 have done, and also to talk about how funding for First 5, much of which is predicated on cigarette and tobacco taxes, seems to be drying up now that more and more people have dropped the habit. Strangely, the stated purpose of raising the prices was to discourage people, and especially kids, from smoking. By hitching on to that kind of funding, voters put First 5 on a track to funding insecurity. We'll get an update from her on where that situation stands now and what steps could be taken in the future to secure a permanent source of cash. We'll be right back after this short break.
We have such a treasure in KEET TV. I think everybody should be a member. Think about all of the news programs, all of the mystery programs and masterpiece programs that are available to us here. I love them all. It's hard for me to decide what is my favorite program because there are so many. So please, become a member today. And thank you.
Welcome to the show again, Mary.
Hi.
Mary Ann, which one do you prefer?
Mary Ann.
Okay, Mary Ann. We've had you on the show before, but it was during the COVID epidemic. You remember that, right?
Yeah, I do remember that.
We were on Zoom like everyone else at that point. So I saw this news and I was saddened because I'm a fan of First 5 Humboldt. I have kids, and I think that you guys do amazing work. I think that without you guys, one of my biggest successes in my career never would have happened, and you basically guided me through the process in terms of finding funders and putting a team together and making it work. So I'm
amazing project.
Well, I'm grateful to you personally and to your organization and your board. But you guys are facing some hard times now. Let's start with though what First 5 Humboldt is, and sort of give our listeners a chance at understanding the background of how it came to be.
Sure. So First 5 Humboldt is a local government entity. We're independent of the county, even though we're at the county level. And we're funded primarily, we're funded by tobacco taxes, and that's because in 1998, California voters passed a ballot initiative called Prop 10, which dedicated or added a 50-cent tax to every pack of cigarettes sold in the state of California, and then divided that money up among the counties based on birth rate. Yeah. So every county in California has a local commission, and so the money is meant to be spent based on local needs and local priorities. But as you mentioned, that's a declining source of revenue. It's the only voter-mandated agency that is responsible for working specifically for children under 5 and their families, and it's mandated to work across silos and across agencies to try to help them all to work better together. That's
part of your mandate, like you just said. I mean, basically, it's your mission to kind of bring people together.
Yep, exactly. And so so our work looks a little disparate, right? We've got our fingers in lots of pies supporting lots of folks to do their work better and make sure that children under 5 aren't forgotten. Most of us don't remember our lives before age 5.
Yeah.
And sometimes that makes it easy to sort of forget the needs, but we know that 90% of children's brain development happens before age 5.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I had for you. I mean, just briefly, can you give us in a nutshell what the science is behind kids under 5 and why that age in particular is important to make safe? And
you might have to stop me and keep me from going on too long, but essentially children lay down the architecture for their entire nervous system before age 5. And by age 2, the number of synaptic connections in a child's brain is twice that of an adult's, because they essentially do what we call bloom and prune. So by blooming and creating all these amazing connections, they can then respond to their environment. And so they are amazingly adaptable.
Yeah.
So they create the best brain they can to respond to the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
That is beautiful, awe-inspiring, and also sensitive.
yes.
And creates incredible potential for both optimal development and for damage and harm. So basically, if you're in a super stressful environment when you're 2, your brain goes, okay, I'm going to respond and be ready to be alert for danger, and my whole nervous system is going to get primed up so that I can respond to that kind of environment. Maybe not put as much energy into thinking ahead, planning, thinking about the consequences, just thinking about safety.
Yeah.
Or the flip side, right? If we can support parents to be the very best that they can be, and we have communities that nurture children, then what we end up with is a brain that's primed to think ahead, to consider consequences, to plan, to make connection, to not be defended.
Yeah.
And that's the hope, right? And
Yeah.
the possibility of that time before age 5. It's like building a house, right?
Yeah.
The blueprint and the architecture gets built before 5. And we can make changes, that other 10% after 5, but the primary foundation of the house and the structure is built before age 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, in terms of like impact on the community, you're basically investing in your future by making sure that the kids who get a start have the most sound infrastructure and architecture that they could possibly have.
Yeah, one of the things that we say is that tomorrow starts today.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really easy for people to think, well, let's deal with the crisis in society right now and the kids will take care of themselves. And let's put our funding and our focus on the crises before us. And our message is we need to do both.
Yeah.
We need to deal with the crises we have in front of us, but we also have to focus on prevention so that we can switch that script. We can turn off the tap for some of the most profound changes and challenges that we have in our communities. Because you mentioned adverse childhood experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if someone has had 4 or more adverse childhood experiences when they were a kid, they're twice as likely to have cardiovascular disease, they're twice as likely to have diabetes, they're twice as likely to have cancer, they're 12 times more likely to attempt suicide as adults,
Wow.
10 times more likely to use injection drugs as adults.
Yeah.
So all of these things that we're struggling to fix could be prevented if we invested more.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that struck me about your effort and your program's work is that it's not just reacting. You know, I mean, you're going in all kinds of directions, and I mean, it's impressive the many different pots that you find your work and investment in. But it's like you're forward thinking, and you're like trying to find ways to strengthen families and the kids' own, psychological well-being well before it's any issue that we can register on some kind of statistic or whatever. And I think that that's really important. For people at home, what are some of the programs that would most be recognizable, or something you could point to say, this is where we think we've made a difference?
I think our most recognizable program are our playgroups. When we first started, we interviewed families, and we've continued to interview families to say, what is the biggest challenge that you're dealing with as a parent of a young one? And they say they feel isolated and they feel disconnected. That really resonates with me because social isolation is a common determinant, a common denominator for houselessness, substance use disorder, behavioral health challenges, right? So many of our issues are linked back to social connection. So we have playgroups, 24 playgroups, from Orleans to Shelter Cove to Blocksburg to Oric, Willow Creek, Eureka, Arcata, right? And those playgroups bring families together, connect them with resources in a barrier-free or really super low barrier environment, so that there's somebody there who can talk with them about the challenges of parenting, refer them to resources, connect them. So that's been ongoing. We also have a program that I'm super proud of, which is a partnership with United Indian Health Services, which provides services and supports to families who are at risk of substance use disorder with who have children under 1 or are pregnant. We have a huge support system for early childhood educators. As you know, child care is a real challenge in our community, and we've been, I'm proud to say, part of developing some solutions locally around that. We also have programs that we have a partnership with Open Door, so that we're supporting them in screening children for adverse childhood experiences.
And they are dealing with a large number of folks that are,
huge access in
so
the families.
Too is very effective.
It's been super useful. So we just published a hiking book. Maybe you've seen it.
Yes, I have. We had him on the show.
Did you? Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, I knew that. Come to think of it, and getting families out there, getting them connected to the community,
and figuring out what it is to live in Humboldt County, and enjoy the place. Now, you guys have known this has been coming for a while.
Yes.
I mean, because it's something that you knew that people eventually were going to slow down on the smoking, and you've done some work to try and diversify your funding. Can you talk about where you started in terms of funding with just the tobacco stuff, and where you are now, and how you've backfilled? Yeah,
so I am just profoundly grateful to First 5 Humboldt's founding commission, because they knew this was coming from the very beginning. So they essentially didn't spend money in their first year as they figured out what they were going to do. They put a big chunk of that funding into what we've called our sustainability fund, and that was the money that was supposed to help soften the blow after revenues started declining significantly. When I came on in late 2015, 2016, our budget was about $1.2 million a year, and we spent exclusively Prop 10 dollars. But we'd already started to draw down from that sustainability fund. That happened after the Great Recession. And so, tobacco taxes dropped, but also the community need increased. And so they started pulling down from the sustainability fund. We started dialing back and cutting. And so we've cut significantly over the last few years, over $300,000. So there were fantastic programs that we did, which is about 25%. Cut.
So you've already cut 25% of what you were doing as you anticipate this.
Yes, and we used to fund children's oral health more significantly. We used to have a program with KEET, actually. It was a literacy program, I think Ready to Learn, and other programs like that have been cut. So we've done that, and then the other pieces we've been seeking other funding, but primarily funding outside the county, because we don't want to compete with local organizations who are also going for grants. So we've been pretty thoughtful and conscious about doing that as much as we can. So now more than 50% of our funding comes from grants. And yes, it's not that the community hasn't felt pain, but at least we've been able to continue our work. Because when I came on, I asked the commissioners, because the plan was we would shut the doors in 10 years, knowing that this was coming. I asked the commission, is our work done? What do you think? Is this the plan? Will we be done in 10 years? And the resounding message from the community was no. So that's what we've been doing. But in November, the voters passed Prop 31, the flavors ban, which is fantastic news for California voters.
Basically,
for smokers.
For viewers, that proposition banned flavored nicotine tobacco juice that they put in vape pens and whatnot. And apparently, and I didn't know this, but it had a real effect. I mean, people stopped vaping as much, which is good news.
Yes, it's been fantastic.
But that's one of the conundrums that I see in all this. It's like, I know that you don't feel this way because we talked about it before the show, but you could put someone in a position of being like, oh, come on, people, smoke. You know? We need funding for this other stuff. And it's an interesting balancing of values. You know what I mean? When you have when you're trying to do something good with money that's coming from a bad thing, I guess.
Right.
But you guys have been, like you said, very creative in trying to figure out how to get funding from around that. But it does have an impact. Even if you were to replace all the funding, it would take away some of the choice. Right. Right.
Right. Right. So there's a problem with funding important services with the sin tax, because you know that by taxing it will reduce that unhealthy behavior. Yeah. But then also reduce what you're able to do in the community. So yeah, we've tried to fill in with grants, but anybody who is dependent on grants understands that limits the local control and what you can do with your mission. And so we keep looking for grants that match our mission, that match what the local community wants for children and families, and that we can compete for successfully. But it's really changed the nature of what we do.
Now you guys have, sought or thought about approaching the state legislature and saying, hey, look at the value of what we've done, and can you please try and find us a source of funding that's more stable? But in the current fiscal environment, it's not working out. Is that basically where you're at?
Well, I think that last year was a bad year for the state legislature because they were in a budget deficit and were making some cuts. I think it's also hard to pitch to the state what is essentially local controlled funding.
Yeah, right.
But we're still looking for that conversation. Because I can't imagine Humboldt not having an agency that's looking out for the children under 5. That's its mission, to work across silos and across agencies.
And looking at your track record, it's obviously worked, and so it seems like
the children over 5, we have a K-12 system there that incorporates mental health and services for families and education and all of those things. And there's no unified voice for children under 5 and their families. And I do think we've done good work.
Interestingly, you are an ally, I would say, of State Senator Mac McGuire. Has he been proactive on this front, or is his hands tied? He was the budget committee.
He was.
Chairman, right?
He was. Well, he's been chairman of a lot of things now. He's Senate Majority Leader. He's working hard. Is what he's doing. We've had conversations with their staff. He actually was a First 5 commissioner when he was in Sonoma County before he was in the state legislature. So he's really aware of the issues of First 5. And I would say that Assemblymember Wood is also pretty aware of the issues. He is a dentist. He understands the value of prevention, and that's what First 5 Humboldt is all about. So I think that a lot depends on the political landscape, the financing landscape,
and how the budgets come together and all that.
And when is a good time? When is a good time to tax, and what kind of tax is palatable?
Those are. That's why they make the big bucks, right?
Right. I don't know. We're still looking now. I don't think this should be the end of First 5, but Prop 31 has definitely resulted in another really steep decline.
And so, how do you see that playing out in terms of do you see a 5-year window where at a certain point you're going to fall off the map, or is it how do you?
I don't like falling off the map.
The funding, I'm saying.
Absolutely.
You guys sound like you're going to figure out a way to survive no matter what. And it really seems like you've got that in place. It may not be what it is now, but there's something that's going to survive. But in terms of where you're getting cash from tobacco sales.
I have definitely heard from other smaller local First 5s. I'm not going to name anybody, but they're worried about how they're going to cover the mortgage on their building, and keep essential staff in place with this decline. So we're going to keep up the good fight, and see what comes. But our local commission is right now working on a 5-year plan, which includes both cuts and pulling down that savings, that money that they had in the savings, to kind of cushion the blow. The faster we pull down the savings, the quicker it's gone. So it's really going to be a really delicate dance that the commission will decide about. what to reduce, where to cut. We've made some cuts already for this fiscal year, which include some really important services.
We've only got a minute left. Is there anything the community can do to help? I mean, in terms of, obviously you talk about letter writing campaign or contacting your legislators, or is there anything that you can think that people who have come to respect and appreciate your program can do to take action?
I think that definitely contact your legislator, talk to your county supervisors to see how they can leverage their local political voice in this conversation. If you think what we're doing has been useful.
It has. I'm just going to throw that in there.
Maybe not everybody thinks so, but if you do, if you see the value in prevention and sort of changing the future trajectory for children as they become adults, then speak up.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary Ann, for coming on the show and for doing what you do.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Friends and supporters of KEET TV, we are calling all who have a passion for public television on the North Coast. KEET is looking for a diverse group of people to join its Community Advisory Board, or CAB. CAB members play an advising role to management and act as KEET's ambassadors within the community. Meetings are held quarterly on Zoom. Go to KEET.org, find the link for CAB, and get involved today. We look forward to meeting you.
The Eureka City Council took a right turn at staff recommendations last week and, against the advice of the city manager's office, chose affordable housing projects brought forward by the Wiyot tribe's Dishgamu program. We featured that program here on the show several times. The City Council voted unanimously to award that land trust contracts to develop affordable housing in 2 city-owned parking lots at 5th and D and 6th and L Streets. Staff had advised that the city choose a proposal from the so-called Eureka Community Partners, based out of Illinois, which outscored Dishgamu in a numerical proposal assessment. The council's decision was reached after a lengthy conversation, and they made their choice based on the importance of community investment, on respecting tribal sovereignty, and on helping to heal wounds created through trauma and prejudice.
We've been working on this project for more than 2 years, and have spent a considerable amount of time in the community going to street fairs and farmers markets and doing the legwork in this community about what this community needs. And so, that to us has been, we've been working on that. And the city manager is correct that we were kind of derailed by the switching around of the properties. And we actually developed 2 proposals, one for the original sites, and then had to make a new proposal for these sites. So we're in this for the long haul. As a tribal government, we've been building housing in this community since time immemorial, and I think that should be considered.
It's all about the government-to-government relationships, and we have created a strong government-to-government relationship with the city of Eureka, and I want to continue to grow that. But I think we all need to be educated about tribal sovereignty because we are our own federal government. We don't answer to the state. We don't answer to the federal. We are our own government that we govern ourselves. And we are in the Constitution to have the government-to-government consultations. There's a lot of things that we need to be worked on as a governments. I'm not saying our tribal government is perfect. I'm not saying the city council government is perfect, but we need to work together to make things happen. And like Michelle said, this is Wiyot land. We've been taking care of our people since time immemorial. And as I always say in my openings, that I always welcome everybody here into Wiyot territory. If you live here, you're a part of us. So we're here to take care of everybody, not just the Wiyot people, but everybody that lives in our community. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, this community will never heal. And I heard a lot tonight about healing. It's all about taking care of the community and healing all together.
A local attorney arrested last March and charged with allegedly possessing fentanyl for sale has been suspended from the practice of law by the State Bar, but continues to represent clients in court. KEET contributor Ryan Hudson has the story.
The California State Bar posted a consumer alert to give the public notice that Victor Campos, an attorney in Eureka working primarily in criminal defense, had been suspended from the practice of law, citing the criminal charge brought against him in March of this year, alleging possession of fentanyl for sale, a felony, and maintaining a drug house, as well as failure to pay fees for renewal of his law license. This last March, Humboldt County's Drug Task Force served a search warrant at Campos's law office and residence. He was arrested along with another man found to be at the residence, according to the Sheriff's Office press release of March 9th. So far, Campos has been represented by the Public Defender's Office at recent hearings in the Humboldt County Courthouse. Meanwhile, the consumer notice posted to Campos's profile at the State Bar website reads in part that the State Bar posts consumer alerts online when attorneys are suspended from practice, and additionally notes anyone who believes they have been a victim of attorney misconduct is urged to file a complaint with the State Bar. That can be done at the State Bar website online. Notably, Victor Campos has pled not guilty to the charges against him. He has a preliminary examination hearing scheduled in October and a pending motion with the court for a return of property. In light of Mr. Campos's continued work on cases in spite of the State Bar suspension on his license, Courthouse CEO Mira Hatton told us that while the court was aware of his suspension for non-payment of dues, the CEO explained that it is not the local court's responsibility to stop a suspended attorney from continuing to practice, and responded that it is the individual attorney's responsibility to report when their license is suspended. Victor Campos is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law, and as far as the State Bar is concerned, his ability to practice law in California in the future hangs in the balance. In the interest of transparency and recognizing the public's right to and need for timely, accurate information, I would like to disclose that this reporter works as a legal assistant in Humboldt County, as well as being your local reporter. For Headline Humboldt, this is Ryan Hudson.
Thank you, Ryan. Remember to catch our new YouTube show, Neon Galactic, youtube.com/@NeonGalactic, where we'll soon be posting an interview with retired Navy Master Chief Kevin Day, who was there and supervising the Strike Force radar systems when the Nimitz Tic Tac events occurred in 2004. If anyone who watched the congressional hearings, you'll know that that was considered the most documented UFO sighting in the history of UFO sightings, I guess. Stay tuned, stay informed.